This video is sponsored by HelloFresh.
Welcome to Austin. Austin is the Texas state capital and home to the University of Texas. It's one of the fastest growing metro areas in the US thanks to a booming tech sector. Austin grew by 26% in 8 years. With growth that fast, there have to be some growing pains. And one major pain point has been traffic.
Highway congestion is really bad for a city its size, which is not surprising considering how many more people live in the area compared to 10 years ago. The Texas Transportation Institute, a state research agency, has identified I-35, which cuts right through Austin, as the most congested roadway in the state. And the state is taking action. It's developing plans for an expansion of the freeway to allow for more traffic. The Texas Department of Transportation plans to add 2 managed lanes, meaning high-occupancy vehicle or carpool lanes through the central city. After initial promises of no higher, no wider, its proposals include displacing over 140 properties, split evenly between businesses and homes. Despite Texas DOT promises that the project will relieve congestion, it's not popular with all Austinites. Community leaders and several Austin City Council members oppose the expansion, and even Mayor Adler, a proponent of the expansion, doesn't want to see it get wider and displace residents and businesses. The city's own Department of Transportation has released competing proposals for reconfiguring the highway. And community activists like the organization Rethink 35 have put forth their own ideas. They're calling for the highway to be replaced with a surface boulevard, and the highway lanes either completely tunneled or removed entirely.
The Texas DOT has said that they will not consider outside proposals, but limit themselves only to the narrow options they've already presented. Now, local activists are fighting this already, but the Texas DOT is a well-funded arm of the state government, and they'll be a formidable foe. Now, you might be asking yourself, why does a state government get to decide where a freeway goes and how wide it is through a city like Austin? Shouldn't local residents and city officials get the final say? In this video, we're going to untangle the web of power and money that exists to build highways, whether or not the public actually wants it. Let's get into it after the bike bell.
To understand why state departments of transportation are so powerful, we have to start at the top, the US Constitution. The 10th Amendment, the last of the original Bill of Rights, states that any powers not claimed in the Constitution by the federal government belong to the states. Notably, nowhere in the Constitution is a city or local government mentioned. This created a hierarchy where the federal government claimed its powers in the Constitution, left the rest to the states, which then doled out some of its powers to local governments. They passed laws to allow local governments to enact ordinances, statutes, and laws that pertain to their local jurisdiction, so long as they don't contradict state laws. Some cities, called home rule cities, have a broader range of powers than Dillon's rule cities, who have a more limited scope. Austin, like most major cities in the US, is a home rule city.
The system as a whole works pretty well. The federal government works on national issues, the state government works on issues pertaining to its state, and local government is free to pass laws and ordinances that make sense at that very small scale. Now, there are some people who advocate for states' rights. That means more power for the states as opposed to the federal government. And there are local control people who want more power to local and city governments as opposed to state control. Okay, we're done with Civics 101. Local governments get their power from the state, who get their power from the 10th Amendment of the Constitution. But why would something like the routing of a highway be a state issue, not a local one? I mean, it's local residents and businesses that might be displaced due to the routing of the highway.
Way back in 1956, Congress passed the Federal Aid Highway Act. It guaranteed a 9-to-1 federal match for highway construction. This meant for every dollar a state DOT spent, the feds would kick in $9. This was a tremendous incentive for states to build highways. And that fact is also important. It would be the states who built and maintained the interstate highways, with robust federal funding. But there's another layer here too. The federal and state governments realized that one of the most challenging aspects of building a highway network would be getting them into central cities. They mandated that all urban areas create metropolitan planning organizations. Their primary purpose would be to create a regional transportation plan and a list of projects that needed state and federal funding. In Austin, that organization is CAMPO. If you look at CAMPO's most recent list of projects, the I-35 project is right there. $4.9 billion for new lanes for the highway right through central Austin. Why would the Austin metro area want this highway expansion? Well, it's important to understand the distinction between city and region. Many City of Austin residents won't see any benefits from this freeway because they may live close enough to downtown, the capital area, or UT Austin that they could just go on surface streets or take alternative modes to get where they need to go. The highway really benefits suburban commuters, people moving throughout the metro area. Austin is a major influential player in CAMPO, But there are plenty of other suburban jurisdictions who see adding freeway capacity in Austin is a great idea, and they don't have to deal with the downside of widening it. They just get the benefits. But this project isn't just the idea of suburbanites around Austin. By its own admission, the Texas DOT has had this project on its radar for over 30 years. The Texas DOT commissioned a study by the Texas Transportation Institute, a government agency with a reputation for publishing positive studies about cars and trucks. And guess what they found? That I-35 needed to be widened and there was no other feasible alternative. The Texas DOT points to the study every time someone suggests an alternative.
The problem is that the Texas State DOT, like state DOTs across the country, have for their existence primarily been about one thing: building new highways. It's only recently that they've been required to consider alternative modes, often as a precondition to receive federal funding. If you're a state DOT, you're a hammer, and every transportation project is a nail, where a nail in this case is a new highway project. You get what I'm saying.
They cannot imagine an alternative that doesn't involve dealing with congestion by building more lanes of highway. They know how to get the funding approved at the state and federal level, too. They have $5 billion burning a hole in their pocket and they want to spend it on a highway. The point of this video is to help you understand why it's so difficult to oppose highway widening projects and tear down existing highways. There's an entire infrastructure that exists to build and maintain them, and billions of dollars and thousands of workers support that effort. And cities, even if they don't want a highway, will be forced to acquiesce. It's for the good of the state and national highway system, never mind the people displaced by the highway. The concerns of residents who breathe in the bad air or all the people killed while driving on it will be minimized in the process. It is possible to oppose a freeway. The freeway revolts in San Francisco and Portland are great historical examples. But notice the word revolt. It's not enough to be passively opposed to new highway lanes. People need to rise up and demand an end to the project. Rethink 35 and other community partners are doing a great job of organizing this resistance. They've also done the important work of proposing an alternative vision. This has been a theme on this channel lately, from the efforts to lid I-5 in Seattle, to the team working to convert Lakeshore Drive in Chicago into a boulevard. All of these grassroots efforts give me hope that residents can organize to stop a machine designed for one purpose: build more highway lanes no matter the cost. It was great visiting Austin, but I was happy to get back to my family. We've got 3 kids and we try to cook them dinner most nights. But we get busy and it can be a challenge to come up with something to make, then go to the store and finally prepare dinner. HelloFresh is a real time saver. You get a box delivered right to your door with perfectly proportioned meals ready to make. And HelloFresh has delicious meals for families like ours with some picky eaters. Tonight we're making enchiladas. It's exactly the kind of meal we'd make for our kids, but without the hassle of going to the store. One of my favorite things about HelloFresh is that they send you exactly the amount of food you need for the recipe, reducing food waste. And the packaging is almost entirely recyclable or made of recycled materials. And when I say exactly the right amount of food, I mean that this meal designed for 4 people served my wife and me and our 3 young kids. There was enough for seconds and a serving of leftovers for lunch the next day. And our kids ate their fair share and liked it. I think they also may have enjoyed their meal being filmed. HelloFresh gives our family delicious, sustainable meals that make our weeknight cooking easy. They have meals perfect for families like ours and options for those of you without a bunch of kids. Go to HelloFresh.com and use the code CityBeautiful14 to get 14 free meals plus free shipping. Signing up is also a great way of supporting this channel, so thank you very much.